I'm Shawn.
And I'm Mike, and you're listening to
Shawn and Mike Take a Hike. Welcome to another episode of Shawn and Mike Take a Hike. What are we talking about today, Mike?
Today we could talk a little bit about campsite entertainment or backcountry entertainment, things to take with you or things to do if you have a little bit of downtime at the campsite and just want to entertain yourself a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good topic. I mean, I would say you and I certainly, we said in the past, like we don't push ourselves to like 20 miles a day.
Right.
Get up at the crack of dawn, don't get there until dusk type thing. So like you and I usually have a little bit of downtime when we get to camp.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you want to start with this topic?
Well, we've mentioned in the past, like taking a Bluetooth speaker, things like that. So I figured we could start with some kind of like the audio based type stuff. Like we mentioned, be mindful of nature, be mindful of other campers, things of that. But it's okay to take a little bit of music. We download a playlist and, just have the Bluetooth speaker there, just something to just when you're taking a few nips off your bottle, or even just sitting around having some water and snacks, to just have some music, some background noise.
Yeah, so you kind of skipped over that, but that's one of the topics I really kind of wanted to touch on is, well, downloading the playlist specifically, because like we've talked all the time about, often, not all the time, but often you're in places where you're not going to have cell signal.
Right.
A lot of people, especially the younger generations, listen to music off your phone. You're probably going to have your phone with you anyway. So you're taking this little Bluetooth speaker, but then, okay, you get there and you don't have any cell signal. So then you're kind of screwed.
Right.
Well, most smartphones these days, depending on the service you use and all that sort of stuff, have either downloadable playlists, or if you're still old school and you have your MP3s downloaded onto your phone, but have them like not in the cloud, right? Like, because you can't rely on that cell signal.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Make sure that your songs or music is accessible to what you're doing. So, I mean, hell, I think they stopped making the iPods and things like that, the standalone music players, but yeah, sometimes, you used to have those standalone and that was all obviously downloaded. So that would be a safe way to go to if they still make that. But I don't even think that's still a thing. So,
I mean, I still have an iPod. It's not regularly used, but I do still have one. But then as far as the Bluetooth speaker goes too, let's talk about maybe like some of the things you're going to want to look for in a Bluetooth speaker. Because you and I both have different ones.
Yep.
We kind of trade off who's bringing the speaker based on what other stuff we're bringing.
Right. So the one that I have, I don't necessarily need to mention brands or anything, but I just made sure that it is a waterproof and dust-proof speaker, and it's still small, compact, lightweight, and it's got a nice little clip feature so it can wrap around a paracord or a chair or anything. If you want it up off the ground or off the picnic table, you can kind of clip it. I'm not going to, it's not a clip, but you can strap it to something and it'll stay put.
Right.
So, you want to look for them, just make sure you got enough battery life, because that's a not a necessity thing. So you don't necessarily want to have to rely on charging that in the backcountry. So make sure it's got a good battery life to it, and then you can save your battery for charging your important things like your cell phones or your GPS or your any kind of your trackers, anything like that. So but I mean, I think that's the key, is just making sure it's waterproof and durable enough. Some of them, like if you get the ones that are made for like job sites type of a thing, they're more impact resistant and things like that. So if it does drop, mine isn't necessarily for that, but it's held up pretty well when we've taken it. And I mean, we're not just chucking it through the woods, but.
Well, no, I mean, but so mine is one of the job site ones.
Right.
It's one that I had when I, was working on construction sites all the time. So it just does happen to be like the more rugged, dust proof, like you're saying, drop proof, all this sort of stuff. Um, and it's fairly lightweight, which is one thing that
Right.
I do like about it. I mean, none of them are super lightweight. I mean, I shouldn't say none of them. They do make some that are like very tiny and very lightweight. Um, I've not really listened to the sound quality on those, so I don't know if it's that much better than just playing music directly off your phone. Because like that's an option too, right? Your phone's going to have a speaker built in.
Right.
If you don't want to take an external speaker, you could probably just play it off your phone and be fine.
Right.
We like a little bit more volume than that, and a little bit more sound quality than
Right.
that.
That's what I was going to say. I like the sound to be a little bit better than just the phone speaker.
And it's a total luxury, right?
Oh,
Like,
for
so
sure.
if you're real mindful of, if you're an ultralighter and you are literally,
A couple episodes you said you were an
counting
ultralighter,
ounces.
so
Yeah, I know this might be one spot that I'm not necessarily an ultralighter for, but like it is definitely a luxury item that we don't take every single time. It's like if we have room, if we have the weight to spare, it's something that we chuck in there.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I saw some of these things, and I kind of want to get one to see what the quality is like. But it's where you set your phone in it, and it amplifies the phone speaker sound. I don't know how great it sounds, but those are like, I mean, they're practically nothing. So they weigh practically nothing. So kind of want to look into those and see if it sounds well enough. We could just do that too. So
yeah, that's true too. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't have any experience on if they're any good, but I've seen the same things you're talking about.
The downside of doing that is if you're on a Bluetooth speaker, if you wanted to look something up, if you have cell signal anyway, you wanted to look something up, like, if you're shooting the shit, doing whatever, and you want to Google something, then you could do that. Or look at your map. If you're using your phone solely as a speaker and you want to look something up, then you're going to kind of take away from any of that. So,
right. And then, I mean, your other options obviously are like if you don't even need a speaker, or if you're solo, you could always take, Bluetooth headphones or something like that, or regular headphones, I suppose. Some people probably still use corded headphones.
Yeah. That's great for like keeping the sound out of nature and everything. But the thing that I don't like about that personally is just that it eliminates your ability to hear external sounds a bit more.
I agree.
So
100%.
Not that you realistically, the amount of bear encounters and things like that are pretty minimal, especially where we're at and where we typically go. But you still want to be able to hear if there's rustling in the trees or anything like that. So,
yeah.
So that's the only thing I say to be mindful about. Like if you got your earbuds, is just maybe only wear one. I don't
know. Yeah, right. But then, so then kind of along the same lines, like since we're talking about like music or like audio entertainment, the other thing is if you are a musically inclined person, and I would say if you think you are going to be far enough away from other people, there is like you could take a harmonica if you wanted to,
right?
Which, I mean, as an adult, I'll be honest, like I kind of want a harmonica. I used to have one when I was a kid. I used to play with it all the time.
Couldn't make any music with it.
I feel like I could make sound with it. I couldn't make any music with it, but like I feel like that would be a fun thing to take. And maybe that's like showing my age or whatever, but like I feel like that would be a fun thing to tinker around with while we were at camp, to maybe practice and get good at, or try to get good at least.
I thought when I was researching this too, I was just like, man, I didn't even think of that. That would be pretty good. I have a jaw harp too somewhere. We could start.
Oh, there you go.
Start our own little backcountry blues band. Backcountry blues boys.
I think it would be fun. It's something to pass the time. It's fairly entertaining. Now, if you're camping, in a designated campground and you got neighbors, is that the time to be?
I don't know. We've been in our
harmonica?
glamping campgrounds and had people with their guitars and stuff out, and just didn't care if anybody else liked their music or whatever.
No, I know. I feel like a guitar is much more like socially acceptable than a bad harmonica.
Fair. That is fair.
And I don't think anybody's taken their
I
guitar
don't
out
know.
on the
They make
backpacking
the
trail.
little travel size guitars. Little. You could take a ukulele or a little mandolin. Like those things are pretty tight, tiny, and compact. I personally wouldn't, just because they're not cheap. It's like you can get a
Right.
harmonica for like $10. Like not a good one, but
Exactly.
But
Exactly. Yeah, not a good one, but one to like pass the time with.
But if you're getting a good ukulele or like something that actually will stay in tune, you're looking at like at least $150. Like that's, I mean,
I
I don't
can't.
know.
I don't play the ukulele. I can't imagine packing that in a backpack. Maybe if you had it in some sort of case and could strap it to like the exterior of your pack in a
Yeah,
way that
that'd be the only
you.
way to do it. But if you started shoving all your shit in your pack with that in there, you're breaking the neck or something.
That's what I think. That's what I would be afraid of. So yeah, maybe if you had a case and you could strap it on the outside, I don't know. If any of our listeners have a ukulele and you take it hiking, let us know. I guess I'd love to hear like how do you do it? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to play a ukulele anyway, so that'd be even more annoying to listen to because I feel like I'm going to probably put my foot in my mouth because I play guitar and bass and all that stuff, but I feel like harmonica should be fairly easy to pick up, but I guess if it were, then more people would do it. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I
mean, it's like anything, right? Like it's practice makes perfect and all the things, and I'm sure there's a learning curve, and it's not rocket science, so it can't be.
When I worked at the guitar shop, we always had harmonicas, and I always wanted to practice or try them, but it's one of those things where it's like once you put your mouth on it, you can no longer sell it as new. So
right.
So it's like, do I buy one? Never did. So yeah. Maybe now that we're in our 40s, it's time to buy a harmonica. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have on my list as far as like the music-based entertainment. I mean, that's kind of,
me too.
In my opinion, all that there really is. Get a small speaker. Don't go out there with your big, cube JBL giant speakers. Like, get something that's compact. They make them that are they make those ones, the pill ones or whatever, that like, I mean, they'd fit in a water bottle pocket. So I mean, and like make sure it's smaller like that, but they make smaller ones than that too. So
then I have a like audio adjacent like segue item then. Another thing to consider if you are into like audio based things, but maybe music isn't your thing, maybe an audiobook.
Yeah.
Like great way to like relax while you're at camp. It's like having a storyteller right there with you. So audiobooks or printed books, right? Like regular printed books. Like you could easily shove a paperback book into your pack.
What's that one, Stories to Tell in the Dark, or Not to Tell in the Dark?
It's exactly one that I thought of. Yes. It's so funny you bring that up because scary stories to tell in the dark. I feel like that would be a fun one.
Or not.
If you don't get too scared in the dark. I feel like that would be a fun one to have around, either if you're solo or with a group. Like read it out loud to the group around the fire. Like
that's just like a bunch of short stories, isn't it?
It's a bunch of short stories. Yeah.
So that would be a perfect if they have it on audiobook, even just to sit and listen to it. Like that would be
great if they have it on audiobook. Yeah. But like, I mean, what better place to kind of sit, kick back, relax, listen to your book, listen to a story being told, or if you don't want to do the audiobook and do a regular book, books don't weigh nothing but a paperback, depending on the paperback, of course, but like generally speaking, you can probably shove it right in one of the pouches in your pack. Yeah. You got it with you. If you got some downtime, do a little bit of light reading. Or if you have one of these books like Mike's talking about, like the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, what a great way to entertain a group of people than to have some scary campfire stories.
Well, that's like, I was thinking like you could do podcasts and stuff, but you and I camp together, like, and we listen to a couple of the same podcasts, so that would be fine if we're both caught up to the same episode or whatever.
Right.
But again, that takes away, like, that's all. If you want to shoot the shit or like discuss what they're talking about or whatever, it's pause, talk, pause. It's like with music, you can just shoot the shit while you're listening, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
So, but yeah, books. I was gonna segue to that when you mentioned the audiobooks. So that's yeah, they mentioned the paperbacks on the research that I was looking at, because the hardcovers are just bigger typically, and they weigh more. So
I mean, they're
yeah,
just bigger and heavier,
yeah,
right? Like, and
yeah.
I feel like having a nice, good paperback with you,
Mm-hmm.
it's more bendy, it's less rigid, it's less weight, it's
So
easier to carry.
one of the things recommended, like, if you're not real, because if you're taking it out in the backcountry, I guess you're not like married to that book. It's not like it's your baby and you're taking real good care of it, because it's going to get bended and folded and smushed and
Right.
stuff like that. It recommended, if you know you're going to read like 3 or 4 chapters, and just rip those chapters out of the book, and then it saves even more space and weight. So
I don't hate that idea.
yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't love the idea of like destroying books just out of I don't know, I just
right,
have a
we're not
weird thing
saying
about
to
it, but
ban it and burn it, but
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Rip out a few chapters and take just a few chapters with you.
Realistically, you could probably just cut the spine with a knife, and then it's still binded.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't hate that idea.
I guess you could just tape it back together once you get home.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're too worried about it getting wet or anything out on the trail, shove it in a Ziploc or something,
Right.
and
Or
then
laminate
while
it.
you're right, right.
So, other things, if you're taking your phone, you could use that as an e-reader.
True.
Or if you have a Kindle or an iPad or something like that, and you want a bigger reading space, then you could take that too. More electronic, more waste, or not waste, but more space and weight. But it's an option to take an e-reader type of a thing. But in my opinion, if I was taking my phone anyway, I would just probably use that if I wanted a screen to look at. But I kind of...
Well, and I guess I don't know, like, how rugged are e-readers? Like, are they...
I mean, you can get the rugged cases for them if you wanted to do that, And I'm sure if you're putting that in your pack too, you're probably gonna want a case for at least the screen, so it doesn't like crack the screen and stuff. So
yeah,
like my phone's always in my pocket, so that's why I usually just say I would just use that. I prefer to not look at my screen while I'm out in the backcountry, though, because I do enough of that while I'm at work and at home, and so.
Well, I don't, and that's the thing. I guess I don't disagree with that either, because, like, when you and I go, at least part of the whole reason of us going is to get away from society a little bit and, be out in nature and enjoying nature. So, me personally, I don't love the idea of reading a book on my phone while I'm out there. I feel like if I was going to do that, I'd rather do an actual paper book.
Right.
But to each their own. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. This isn't a do your own research. This is just a do what works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing along the book genre, I guess, would be like we mentioned. We had a whole episode about trail journaling.
Yeah.
Things like that. So if you take a journal or like to keep a journal while it's fresh in your day or in your mind when you get to camp, go through your photos that you took and just write down your memories, what the temperature was, things like that. Just journal your day so while it's fresh in your mind. We were talking before we hit record that we need to be better about doing that ourselves. So it's I just feel like we are doing ourselves a disservice by not doing that. So
100%. I mean, that's the same thing that we said in the journaling episode, and we said at the time, like, oh, we really got to start doing that. And then here we are a couple months later,
still
we're saying the same
that.
thing. Oh, we really got to start doing that. Because I agree. I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like we're going to start forgetting the things that we did.
Yep.
And then on top of that, because you and I are getting a little bit more experienced in hiking and backpacking, we're in some ways planning cooler trips, cooler or neater or more memorable trips.
Right.
We're going to start doing the things that's like, okay, we probably want to write that down because I'm not going to be able to remember it forever. And like, we're going to be doing some cool shit.
Right. Well, and then like if somebody wants, wants to know, hey, you guys went here. What was it like, and how did you like all that stuff? You just go like right to the journal and be like, yeah, here's what we felt in the moment. Like,
Right.
you know, we walked up some
But
bullshit today.
even aside from a trail journal, like even if you're just a regular journal, like a
Right.
daily life journaler, take your journal with you.
Yeah.
You know, again, shove it in a Ziploc or something. If you're worried about it getting wet,
Yeah.
take it with you. Write down your day.
That
You
would
know,
be
like
an
journal like you
interesting
normally
thing
would.
to see people that journal on a regular basis, like their daily thoughts while they're in the daily grind and everything, and then how their thoughts and things might change while they're in the backcountry. That'd be an
Yeah.
interesting study. That's me being a nerd again. So, so I mean,
But then, okay, so then along with journaling, then, so if I could do like a add on to that
sure.
or a similar but different,
Mm-hmm.
if you are artistic or whatever, take a sketchbook with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say even like on the journaling side too, you could even just like if you are, I don't know the word I want to look for here, but if you are a writer or you have an idea to write or anything like that, you can do some creative writing too, like on that.
Oh,
But
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, or write a story about something you thought of on the trail. But yeah, sketching for sure. I mean, if you, I mean, I feel like you don't want to take an easel and like a big charcoal, you know, but
Right.
but like take a sketch pad and some like colored pencils, some charcoal pencils or whatever, and do it up. I mean, I'm jealous of the people that can do that stuff. Like,
Oh, me too. I have
yeah,
like zero artistic ability when it
yeah,
comes to like sketching and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, I I will say that, but then I also feel like when I am out there and I'm relaxed and I'm in nature, like I also do imagine if I did have that sort of artistic ability, I would be inspired to create while you're out there.
yeah,
So
for
like you're
sure.
saying, whether it's like creative writing or drawing or sketching or whatever your thing is, like I do feel like I get inspired when I'm out in nature. And if I had those abilities, that would be a great time to be able to channel that artistic stuff onto paper.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a creative writer by any means. I can't draw for shit. I think I'm more or less taking a harmonica out of all of these options so far.
Yeah, right.
So, but I mean, yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, that's kind of what I've got as far as any of that. We never have, but we should. I've thought about taking just taking a deck of cards or something.
Oh, yeah. I see deck of cards recommended like in all of the backpacking groups in
Yeah,
like every post about what do you do if you're bored at camp or whatever. Like deck of cards is the standard.
right.
A because I mean there's so many games you can play with a deck of cards. So like you can play solo, you can do some solitaire or
Yep.
any of the numerous variations you have of that. You can play, you know, two-handed euchre if you got two people, or it's gonna kind
Never
of
done
depend
that.
on how many people you got with you. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you got a group of four, or if you meet some people at a campsite next door and they want to play some euchre, I mean, we could be talking to people that have no idea even how to spell euchre or what it is. But
okay, well that's a different podcast altogether.
but I mean, gin, rummy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can do so many games with one or two people if it's just the couple of you, and it's fairly small, pretty lightweight. I'm not going to say they're the lightest thing in the world, but it's pretty lightweight.
I feel like it's like almost the lightest weight option of things to
Yeah,
take. I mean everything's going to have weight, but a deck of
right.
cards, small,
Don't weigh nothing.
durable.
Yeah,
Like and they make like rugged cards even. So like if you're
yeah.
concerned about like ruining a deck of cards or something,
Waterproof or whatever. Yeah,
get one of the waterproof ones. They're the
yep,
rugged ones, the ones that are like tear proof. I don't know what that's made out of, but
yeah,
lots of options as far as that goes. And then if you don't even want to play like a card game, all right, build a house of cards or like there's all that sort of stuff you could do. Or there's like the shooting a card into a bucket type game,
Mm-hmm.
which, you're probably not going to have a bucket, but do you got a hat or something? You can set a hat on the ground and
Do you have
try
a
to
bear
toss.
canister?
You got a bear canister, any of that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Like, you pass a lot of time doing stuff like that.
Yep.
I think deck of cards is like the number one answer that we
Yeah.
probably should have said very right up front.
Right. Yeah. It's cheaper, easier, and than music or a speaker or a book, or it's just the easiest way. Probably one of the oldest ways of passing time. Like
Right.
realistically.
And right there, adjacent to deck of cards, take some dice, play some dice games. Like
So I was thinking about that too. Downside to dice is that, like, okay, you're either rolling it in the dirt or you've got a picnic table that may be wonky or whatever. But I mean, use what you got. So,
oh my gosh, you're gonna get dirty. Sorry. I mean, like I don't feel like that's a deterrent. Like you're out in the woods, you're gonna get dirty. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. I like to keep my stuff nice.
Okay. Right. Well. But like a little 5 stack of dice or something, lots of stuff you can do with that.
Yeah, Yahtzee, Farkle.
Yeah, any of those games, make up a game, whatever. Like, lots of options.
The one thing that I feel like, I mean, maybe a travel checkers or a travel chess or a Connect Four, but that seems like that's a little bit big once I start thinking about it. But
okay, so I thought about that too, and then I got to thinking about like back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they do make, I assume they still make, I have not seen them, it's been a long time since I've been in the toy aisle in a store.
Right.
But like, they did used to make really compact, small, travel-sized board games. I assume they still do. Where it's like a little plastic case that folds in half and all the pieces fit right inside. And then when you open it up, it's got the game board on top of it. Chess or checkers or Parcheesi or Connect Four or any of those. Like, I feel like, are you going to want a variety? Probably not. Like, pick one and that's the one you're going to have. But I feel like they are plenty small. I feel like it fits right in your pack. I think it's a great option, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
I even saw like a tiny little battleship game. Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah. This tiny little, like super little tiny compact thing.
Yeah. Huh.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. I guess I do remember like the small little, little checkers board that was maybe only like a 4-inch by 4-inch thing, and it used like little chips or something, and then like
it uses little tiny plastic pieces. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking more like we used to have like riding in the van or whatever when I was a kid. You'd have like the push bubble like trouble game or sorry or whatever, and like that you risk cracking that bubble and all that stuff in the pack. So I don't know if that's the best way to go, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they make a travel version of that.
That's
too.
true. Yeah.
Realistically, and sorry, and all those, I would be shocked if they don't.
We'll have to do some looking.
And if they don't, this is my trademark. I am putting it on it. We are inventing that. So nobody steal my idea.
Right. We said the words. It is registered and trademarked.
Yeah, this is my poor man's copyright. Leave it alone. We're making it.
Other options are just like, your standard 20 questions, I Spy, Would You Rathers, things like that you can just do as conversation starters, or just to, if you see something cool in the woods that you've never seen, you can say, I spy something, and start, whatever. So, so those are options there. And then something that I didn't think about, but would be kind of interesting. A lot of people do like different bingos, like, you have your 2025 bingo card and all that stuff. You could have your backcountry bingo or your trail bingo. Like, did you see a wildflower? Did you see a stream crossing? Did you see things like that? So see what kind of...
I feel like that's more one you could play right when you're on the trail even.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to wait for camp to do something like that, like a backpacking bingo. I think that's a great idea.
So that would also get you to pick your damn head up and quit looking at your feet while you're walking too. So
yeah, that's true.
So,
well, and then kind of related to that, same but different. Like the other thing that I was thinking is like when we go glamping, one of the things I really enjoy doing when we're glamping is I will get up in the morning, I will have my cup of coffee, and I will sit down and do a crossword puzzle.
Yep.
Like an old man in his 70s. So like I think it would be, like you're saying, you can even rip the pages out. You don't even got to take a whole crossword book.
Right. Yeah,
So
fair.
take a crossword or a word search or a Sudoku or whatever. Just rip out a couple of pages. Just take a few pages.
Yeah.
And then there you go. There's some entertainment for you for a couple of hours when
Well,
you
and
get to
then when
camp.
you're
Or
done,
if you happen to get up before the people you're with.
yeah.
Or
And then when you're done with it, it's a puzzle. It's not a book. You could just toss it in the fire or use it as fire starter or whatever.
right.
You know, I mean, just don't leave it behind. Make sure you take it out with you or burn it with as fire
Correct.
starter. Yeah. There's
Right.
our leave no trace. Got it in there.
There we go. Got it in there.
Um, Other things to do. I mean, we kind of mentioned like campfire stories with that scary stories to tell in the dark. But if you know any of the old legends or anything, or if you looked anything up that happened, or like legend has it in these parts, you could share those types of stories. The one thing you and I do pretty regularly, or I do when somebody wants to go to bed before I'm ready to go to bed, I'll go out by and find a clearing either by the lake or just a clearing in the trees, and just do a little stargaze and look up at the sky, because you're in a darker area than you're ever going to be at, and you get to see a lot more of the night sky than you do when you're at home. I mean, we're in a pretty rural area as it is, but we still can't see shit like you can see out in the backcountry. Right. I'm surprised there's much more that I can see here than when I used to work down by Detroit. Like, you can't see nothing down there. But
Yeah.
But when you get out in the backcountry, take the opportunity and look up at the night sky, because it's beautiful. So
Now I'm gonna take this opportunity to give my little PSA about hiking after dark.
yeah,
If you're gonna do stuff like that, especially if you're gonna go like a reasonable distance away from your camp, walk it during the day first. Figure out where
yeah,
you're going. See if there's any obstacles. Make sure you take some sort of light with you, and make sure that you're able to get back to your camp wherever you go. Don't just go wandering around in the
right,
woods
yeah.
looking for a clearing, please.
We've been fortunate enough when we went, we've had those types of clearings pretty much right by the campsite. So
Yeah.
it wasn't having to go far, but you're right. If you do have to walk a quarter of a mile or whatever,
Yeah.
make sure there's a decent trail to get there. You're not going to trip and fall over 90 million things. And like I said, take a light so you can actually see where you're going.
Yeah.
So,
I have like one more category that I wanted to cover
okay.
of things. I'm gonna call it mini hobby stuff.
Okay.
So, and I guess where my head goes with that is like, do you have a hobby that you already do, or do you want to pick up a new hobby of things? And when I say like hobby, these are the things I'm thinking of. So like, do you want to make like friendship bracelets?
Okay.
Do you want to be a wood whittler? Do you want to learn how to tie a bunch of different knots and practice your knot tying when you're out there? Like we've talked about, we always bring a length of paracord, right? Okay, you're sitting around doing nothing. What a better time to practice knot tying. You got some cord right there with you. Practice some knot tying while you're out there. Pick up a new hobby or practice whatever hobby you have. I did see in a couple of spots where people were recommending like you could take your knitting stuff with you. I feel like that's a bit much.
Yeah, but that yarn don't weigh nothing. It's bulky.
The yarn don't weigh nothing. Okay, but are you gonna like knit leaves and debris into your stuff? Like, because I don't feel like it's that clean when you're out there.
Fair.
So are you gonna be able to keep nature out of whatever it is that you're knitting or crocheting? I don't know.
Yeah, next thing you know, like some like mountain lion or whatever comes and starts playing with your yarn and takes, pulls the whole damn thing apart. Everybody gets pissed off at their cat for doing that. So,
or I mean, are you just doing it to pass the time and you really don't care? I don't know. You know, like I mean, that's certainly an option too.
I mean, if you're new at knitting and you're not keeping what you're just practicing your
stitches,
your looped or stitches. Yeah, there you go. Like, if you're just doing it to get better at it, then I mean, by all means, that's a great time to do it. Um,
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm calling that like mini hobbies. Not that the hobbies are
yeah,
small, but like, what kind of hobby can you do that can fit in your pack? I guess
right.
is like the kind of the
Well, yeah,
idea.
I had that labeled as like skill building or learning.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I had like, work on your navigation skills, like take your map out and see like, okay, this is definitely where we're at, and this is where like just you can plan your trip out for the next day, or like look over your stuff and see what's around you around the campsite. So you can do things like that, and then there's the obvious identify plants, look and see what plants are around you, what kind of trees, birds, and if you see any animal tracks or scat, see if you know like that kind of stuff, or look it up and learn. Like if you have cell
Well,
signal,
okay,
look it up and
right.
learn.
That's immediately what I thought when you were saying that sort of stuff. Though is like, okay, how are you practicing that though? Like, what if you don't have any cell phone signal?
Yeah,
Did you bring like a scat book or like
it's my book of poop.
a birding
Yeah,
book to which is certainly a possibility. You
yeah, for
certainly
sure.
can if that's what you want to be doing out there. But you know, I guess I don't know how you would practice without some sort of guide there with you.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I say, if you have cell signal, then that's something that you can do, because you
Sure.
can, like the phones we have, you just like take a picture of it and you hold down the item and it just tells you what it is. I mean,
Right.
things are getting way too smart for my comfort, but it's fine. I like technology. Don't kill me, robots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but yeah, like I had the same things. Bring like the paracord, practice your knots, tie bracelets, or there's the make those paracord survival bracelets, like those types of things
Sure.
that
Right.
unwind
Right.
and all that stuff. So tons of things you can do out there. The one last thing that I thought of or didn't think of, I looked up and it said like if you have like a mindful breathing or a guided breathing app, or you're into meditation or yoga, anything like that, you can pass some time by just getting in some mindful breathing or meditation.
Yeah.
So, um, you're already out in nature. I feel like my mindful breathing is when I'm puffing and puffing on the trail. But
I'm being mindful not to pass out.
right. So, but yeah, I mean, there's ways to pass the time. I don't ever find that we're bored out there. That's the thing, is like I'm just happy to
Well,
be there. So
that's okay. So that's kind of where I was going to wrap things up. So I mean, I guess are we to the point
yeah,
where we're ready to start wrapping? Okay. So that was exactly what my like final point was going to
yeah,
be. Like, you don't got to take nothing. Like, you don't need to have entertainment. I am a big fan of like. I wish I could be bored more often.
yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like I've got enough stress in my life, enough things to think about in my daily grind.
Enough shit I got to get
I
done.
kind of I kind of don't mind going out into the woods, and at the end of the day, if it's just me sitting there with nothing to do
Hmm.
and being a little bit bored, I can appreciate that boredom a little bit.
Yeah,
So like, you don't have to take anything to pass the time. Maybe enjoy the boredom.
yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. You and I have talked. Like we both have people in our lives. I'm not going to name names or anything, but we both have people in our lives that are uncomfortable with silence.
Oh, 100%.
So that's where like the backcountry really is comes in handy. And like you and I good traveling together, we'll sit in the car for a half hour without saying a word, just listening to music or the
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh,
And
every time you and I go hiking, we'll get like a half hour in, and then neither one of us will talk, and it's like, okay, guess we ran out of stuff to talk about.
right,
Like,
right,
we're done talking for the next 2 days. Like, ran out of things,
yeah,
and I'm fine with that. Like, I don't
yeah.
have a problem with that. I don't find it to be awkward. I find it to be fairly enjoyable.
I'm not sitting there like, well, if he's not talking, he must be mad at me. I must have done something.
Well, I probably am mad at you, but
But I mean, embrace the silence because you don't get enough of it where you're at, like typically. So
100%,
yeah, so
100%.
yeah. And it's not really silent. It's just it's a different quiet. And there's so many other noises out there that you don't ever get to hear.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Is like, it's not even like it's quiet. There's other things to listen to.
Yep.
There's like, nature is beautiful to listen to, especially if you don't get to hear it all the time.
Right.
And it's like, when outside sounds aren't there anymore, nature is freaking loud.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, for sure.
listen to that. It's plenty fun to listen to that.
Soak it in. It's because if you're like us, it's like 3 to 4 times a year you get to enjoy it.
Right.
So,
so I guess if our listeners have anything that they like to take to entertain themselves and pass the time that we haven't mentioned here, we would love to hear about it. So shoot us an email. You can always reach us at our email, which is shawnmikehike@gmail.com. You can slide into our DMs on most of the major socials, which is at ShawnMikeHike, or you can always shoot us a message right on our website, which is ShawnMikeHike.com.
Yep.
We would certainly we would certainly appreciate if anybody would take the time to rate, review, and subscribe. And until next time, go
take a hike and bring part of a book.
There you go. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.